Okay, so this is the fourth video for the National Tank Destroyer, and we're going to install the track covers. We'll still need a few patches for this, and want to start out by taking the track cover pieces, that's a good one, and just kind of hand flatten them as best you can. And then use a bamboo skewer to sort of roll this part with the red lines on it. The red lines stand for a rolled part rather than a folded part. And once you have your track cover nicely done, we're also going to need the little piece that goes on the side. Now make sure that when you install your track cover, these little blue squares are on the outside. There's also left and right marked on them. So just make sure that you install them on the right side, especially if you're putting on the side skirts. And so you can tell that you have the right side. Yeah, this would be the correct side. Okay. So now that we've got all that ready, we want to make sure that when we install this, it installs level. And you may have to take some sandpaper or a blade and cut some of this if this isn't sitting flat, because it's hard to install the track level if you're not stuck to a level surface, right? Like if you try to install it level and this is coming up a lot, then you're going to have a gap there and it will look odd. So you want to make sure that when this goes on level, you're pretty close to flush the whole way, and if not, modify the model so that it is that. So once you've got that ready, take some either straight or 4-to-1 glue. We're going to put a bead along the leading edge at the bottom here, where the track cover will sit against. Insert it, and you can push it all the way to the back so it's sitting flush against the rear of the hull here. Just kind of hold it in place, and the now this is modifiable still since you haven't put glue on this piece. The rounding should be just cresting above this piece, or perfectly level with it. Cresting above is the most accurate, just a tiny bit above. Now hopefully you're going to see that this is the same amount of the edge of the track cover poking out off the edge. If it doesn't look right, you might want to pull it out a little bit on one side to make it even. And when you install the second side, you want to definitely make sure that it looks like not only is it even, but it's even with this side too. So the second side can be a little bit more tricky to install. Now once you have it sort of installed and drying there, didn't expect these to be attached, there we go. Take a fairly long wide patch and fold it lengthwise in half. And I'm going to take some thinner glue here, some 2-to-1, and let me think here. Okay, yeah, I want to put my glue along the track cover. The reason I'm choosing to do it on the track cover instead of the side of the hull is don't want to push the track cover up when you're doing the final installation, so it's easier to attach this patch to the track cover first. So just slide it along the surface without glue on it until you make contact, and then you can glue the one side in. Peel back the second side. And the reason that you put glue on one side and not the other is because it's really hard to get a patch into position without it sticking to something. So this is just a good way to get it into position. And then slip glue underneath the patch. But you see, if I had installed it on the side of the hull first, I'd be pushing it into place, and I might push this out of position, and you don't want that. So it stays nice and level. So once you've got that secured, we're going to take this little piece here. We're going to glue it, the back of it, to the side of this little piece that pushes out, and the top of it all along the track cover. And you want it sitting so that your finger sits comfortably on top of it. So it kind of follows naturally the back corner turn a bit, sort of thing. So back to straight glue again, or 4:1. Put a little bit on there, and then a fairly generous line along here. One thing you do want to watch out for when you're installing this is that it has the same angle as the hull side there, and that it comes along fairly close to the outside edge of the track cover. And as a final touch, you can take a small, actually quite tiny patch, and you want to make this look like it's one piece. So we're going to actually just patch this little gap at the back with some tracing paper. Get that into place. And then trim it down a little bit. Leave enough so you can fold it over and cover the back side as well. Now once you've kind of got it mushed up in there, you can sort of hide it by adding a little bit of wet glue, just using your brush to sort of tamp it down, and it should sort of vanish into the model. You can also sand it a little bit to remove any evidence of that patch. But it shouldn't be too hard to cover that and hide it, so that it looks like this is actually attached at the back to this part here. Okay, and do that for both sides. Like I said, being careful that if the second track isn't even with this one for the amount of track cover poking out the edge, make sure to modify it. And if you need to, even trim it down if it's surprisingly poking out a whole bunch more. You'll have to trim it down. And that will get you to the next step once both sides are done. Thanks for watching. See you soon.